Ian, it's been a tough week. How are feelings now?
Quite positive today. It has been a tough week, as you say. Tuesday night was, it was a tough one to take. Looking back at some of the highlights and some of our footage that we have available, really we've done very, very well up to the 18-yard box again, but I haven't failed to find a killer instinct, and it's cost us with two breakaway goals. But in terms of the ball possession and some of the stuff that we did on the night, it was very good. But again, if you don't score goals, you don't win games of football. So it's gone now. It's not a lot I can do. As I said at the time, we have to wipe ourselves down. We have to train hard, which we did last night. Worked on lots of stuff that we keep on working, and we haven't really seen much of an improvement from that side of it. But we've got to keep working on it, and we've got to take it in tomorrow's game and hopefully pick up 3 points.
And you mentioned you had plans to make big changes ahead of tomorrow. Is that still the case?
It's some changes in terms of what we want to do. Again, we've got to be careful we don't gain too much too quickly. But again, we have to improve as a football club. And as I said before, the first thing I always do is look at myself. I question the coaches and I'll question the players. And that's what I've done since Tuesday night. And there will be some changes tomorrow. To what extent, that's something that we work on over the next sort of 24 hours and see when we get here. We have got 1 or 2 players that are coming back from injuries. We need to see where they are. But at the moment, everything's looking quite good, apart from probably a couple of players that have been out for a long term already who won't be available for tomorrow.
Obviously, this morning it was announced George Rell signed a contract with the first team. How exciting is that for you as a manager to have him?
It's great. It's great, as we've seen it before. Somebody like George who has got abundance of enthusiasm, runs literally all day long, and I've seen that personally myself in pre-season. He's been held back a little bit this year through an injury, which hopefully now he's over that. But he's an exciting prospect. We see when he came on last week how cool and calm he was with his finish. He scored goals playing in the B team this year. He scored a number of goals last year in the B team. He's somebody that we have been keeping an eye on, and it's right for him to come in and take his opportunity. So great from his point of view, great from the club's point of view, and it's great that we're actually trying to bring players through from the academy and the B team to try and show what they can do in terms of the first team and obviously at this level. But he proved last Saturday and again on Tuesday that he can step up to this level. We've got to be careful because again he's only 18. But if he does well and he does it well consistently, he's going to be in and around the first team all season.
And on to Farnborough then, newly promoted side. We played 3 of the 4 that are promoted into the league with 1 of each result, a win, a draw and a loss. What are you expecting from Farnborough? Very
tough game. They've got good players. Spencer, their manager, has brought some really good players to the club. They did extremely well last year, and you see in terms of some of the teams that we played from that league last year and it's going to be a tough game. They've done extremely well again this year. They're through to the next round of the FA Cup, which is a good performance against Hayes and Yedding. They've got good players, and we've got to be our best. And though the work rate and some of our quality of football the other day is there, and we've got it right. It's just probably that end product that's missing at the moment, and they're the areas that we have to improve in. But it's going to be a tough game, we know that. We've got to go there and be positive. As I say, me personally, I've got Tuesday night out of my system. The players trained extremely well last night. They've got it out of their system, and we've got to move on now and try and climb this league as quickly as we can, and try and make sure that we get to the top half of the division very, very quickly.
And just the squad's obviously been spread fairly thin on the ground with quite a few injuries. How are the players coming back? Romeo, I know, was back training yesterday for the first time.
Well, everyone's back training now, so it's a positive. Some are going to take a little bit longer than others in terms of some of the work that they've got to do. The biggest thing now, Will, is that though the players are not far away from full fitness, they need to get up to speed with some games. And this is why we've got to look in terms of getting 2 or 3 games in where we can get these players playing and get their match fitness back to the level. So, they might be ready in 10 days' time, 2 weeks' time. But we've also got to look at the terms of match fitness. That's why we use pre-season to have 6 to 8 games in pre-season to get these players back up to full match fitness. And that will take a time because, just to throw people in now, as we've seen with Devontae Stanley, that I was in a position I had to throw him in quicker than I wanted to. and within 3 or 4 games, he's had an injury flare up on the other leg, which has taken again another couple of weeks to get him back to fitness. So it's good news, very good news from the club's point of view, my point of view, and the team's point of view. But as I say, we're not out of the woods yet in terms of that. But the 2 young lads, or 3 young lads that have come in, have taken their opportunities really well. And it's obviously just give the rest of the squad a bit of a shake-up in terms of them knowing that their places aren't guaranteed if they don't play particularly well. And that's what's going to happen, over the next few weeks. And certainly, 1 or 2 will be in for a shock tomorrow when we pull them in and make sure that that they realise that they're not playing because they haven't been good enough over the last couple of weeks. And no, they're not poor players. They've just got to improve in certain areas, and we have to make sure that happens going forward from tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Will.